Hey everyone, thanks for joining us again on another episode of Winter is Taking Forever on what I thought was the best episode this season.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We've been hard on the show.
Yeah. I'm still going to be hard on the show.
Right, because we have to out of love.
The first scene was Jon Snow landing at Dragonstone,
Yeah.
which my first thought was, so 6 months have passed between the last two episodes.
Westeros is in a
Right.
time warp.
My second reaction was, they take the weapons, and then the Dothraki, like dwarves going to work, just like take that boat, and they're like, we'll store it over with the other boats, I guess.
Yeah, they just immediately, they're just like, wait a minute, boat, okay.
I want to make a point that you made earlier, which is like, what is the temperature on Dragonstone?
Oh my God.
Because like, at various times, Jon Snow's wearing his like winter coat, Daenerys is occasionally wearing what is the equivalent of a summer dress.
Right, it
and then the
has long
Dothraki
sleeves,
are
but
wearing
it's
just
not
vests. Like they got like exposed shoulders, like they're fine. So I liked Tyrion and Jon's homecoming. I thought that was fun. I did like that Tyrion kind of dropped like, also didn't your sister.
A sham marriage, and unconsummated.
I didn't ask.
Well, it was.
Tyrion, who has clearly, that's a character who has no shame or sense of awkwardness, felt the need to clear the air, which I love.
Okay, so this week on Spider-Man Homecoming, Varys and Melisandre had what I would call a classic evil imp conversation, right?
Right, yeah, just a smug battle.
Yeah, Varys was finally back to being Varys, which I personally, it's my favorite thing in the show. I love it when I love it when Varys is like, so, you know I don't like you, right? But I'm gonna talk to you anyway. So what are you gonna do? Die here? Die somewhere else? Die for sure, though, right? She's like, yeah, I'm gonna go, but I will be back, motherfucker. And he's like, anyway, ever tell you about the time I was cut?
Also, she just like honestly said like,
My lady.
I have to die in this strange country. Just like you.
That was fun, though. How did you feel about the Jon Snow-Daenerys meeting overall?
I liked that they were not fast friends. That meeting didn't go how I think anybody planned, but it was really satisfying to watch.
What did you think was gonna happen?
I kind of thought they were going to be buddies.
You know what's funny? I think we all did, and I started to get frustrated with Daenerys. Like she went
Right,
on this whole like she like litigated her case for the throne, and that's fine. And Jon Snow litigated his case for not kneeling to her, and that's also fine. But like I had a real problem with her. Like I don't believe in White Walkers. What do you mean you don't believe in that? Like
You raised dragons.
you raised dragons. You're fireproof, and you know other people aren't fireproof.
Right. Your magic. There's a woman walking around your house who's also magic.
Right. Just add it up. This guy like came unarmed, basically alone from the north to tell you that this is a threat. He clearly believes it's true.
Yeah, he didn't bring like an army with him.
Right.
He brought like, so clearly it wasn't to go there and take over.
It was to make it sincere. So it's just weird that Daenerys doesn't instantly assume this is probably true. She might decide not to do anything about it.
Right.
And that I understand. But like not believing it is dumb.
But I think this is also, that scene is a stage towards her seeing her corruption a little bit more.
Yeah, because she's becoming a bad guy, right? Oh, I think they're laying the groundwork.
I don't think she's fully gonna do it. I think she's definitely gonna have the light and dark side fight, but I think she's gonna stick to the light, but it's in her, and I think you see that, those sparks. And she tried to front with Jon Snow quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, sending those dragons in for the flyby.
Oh, you think she's radioing that in?
Their pattern was not full.
I didn't realize. I didn't realize how sophisticated this flyby was. In your
No,
mind.
I mean, you gotta request it.
So let's move on to Euron and the parade of Yara and the Dorne murder fodder. I couldn't figure out why a crowd would ever show up to cheer anybody in King's Landing.
No.
Like I was really having a hard time figuring out like. Why
Don't you
does this-
remember the last time you did this? She's now your queen? Why?
Right, if you're a crowd, if you're just a peasant in this town, how could you possibly get excited for Euron to drag those bodies through? Like they just had their whole church blown up by like the equivalent of a green nuke, and they're they're supposed to just come out like, yes, we won something.
Yeah.
No way. If I'm a peasant, I am staying home for that.
I am, if I'm still there. But
Yeah.
I've built my bunker in the town and I'm just living underground like a mole person. Living in Tyrion's sewer prostitute path.
Well, that's in Casterly Rock. Although one can assume
that's Casterly.
that Tyrion's probably put prostitute sewers in every city he's been
Everywhere.
in. I don't care about this storyline. Do you care about it?
No, because it's over.
Because Euron has to matter long enough to die at least.
Right. The sand snakes have been dead.
We don't even know their fucking names. I mean, I know that Eliana Sand, I think is the right name.
Yeah.
She's confirmed that she's not on the show anymore after this.
Right.
So we know that's it for them.
She's done. She's gonna see some horrible things happen to her daughter,
Sure.
and and then die.
It was 5 minutes of exposition about what the murder's gonna be.
For something we saw in the previously on recap, too.
I don't need any more, like, 20s villains recapping what they're gonna do and then tying you to the train tracks. It's I get it. Just kiss her daughter, you know, and then go off and have your incest sex to cap the night off. I get it. I just feel like we're starting to get to a point where we're really stacking up a lot of people that are living the rest of their lives in torture in that dungeon. We're just gonna have a whole segment where, like, Cersei does a quick, like, recap tour of that dungeon. Like, and this is the one that I decided the mountain could f forever. And this is the one that's watching her daughter die. So finally, Sansa and Bran are reunited. I mean, I was hoping it was gonna be emotional, but it wasn't.
Hello, Sansa.
What happened to him? Like, he's like, he looks like he's seen some shit in like he's not on this planet anymore.
Right.
You know?
But know who also has seen some shit? Sansa.
Everybody's seen some shit. It's like, I don't understand why he gets the claim to like be the weird detached one. Yeah, because Bran bringing up his sister's wedding was
mean. It was just mean.
It was a little mean, yeah.
She knows what happened.
But see, Sansa got her triumph in the end to me because she's like, I don't want to talk about this. I'm gonna go. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna stay. And it was like, how are you gonna get back? Because we didn't see Mira back there. Who, by the way, Mira looks miserable.
Of course she looks miserable. She has the worst job in all of Westeros.
She's basically like an Iditarod husky at this point. The other thing I want to say about the Bran Sansa thing is like Bran is clearly the solution to the problem that Littlefinger brought up, which is like, Sansa, you have to predict the future. You have to know everything that could happen, then nothing can surprise you. And it's like, I don't know what that means, but then Bronn comes in like, oh, I see everything now. Like, I can predict the future. It's like, oh, well, there's, okay.
But also, what did Littlefinger, besides seeing the future, literally seeing the future, what did Littlefinger want her to do that she wasn't doing? Because before that, we got a walk and talk of her being like, we need food for 6 years, put leather on that, you, brush your teeth.
This week on Tarly Potter, which is what I'm going to call all of the Sam series.
Fair enough.
Okay, so apparently curing grayscale is basically like peeling an orange. And then like, you know, the Archmaister's like, I don't like that you did it, but you did it right, so I can't punish you. Come into my chambers, here's a pensieve. But other than him getting points for House Tarly, I really don't understand what we're doing there. Also, this week on Deleted Scenes, we did catch a glimpse of Randall Tarly and Bronn leading that army to conquer the Tyrells. And like, there was definitely a scene where they were like, why aren't we in the show more? Like, why are we not getting a scene, but Sam is getting a whole arc?
Sam is getting montages.
Right, I would way rather watch his shitty dad and Bronn argue over which one of them gets to give the lieutenant a command. I just want to watch him be angry doing anything. That's my favorite thing.
Don't f***ing say it.
So how'd you feel about the Lannisters' grand scheme to get gold?
Smooth move. That's like why they're in charge. Is exactly what they did.
Yeah, I like that Cersei's actually gonna be formidable.
Right.
That's good.
It showed why they're hard to defeat, because for the past 2 episodes, they're like, why don't we just take them?
Well, they've written some stupid problems in for Daenerys. Like, why can't she just tell the dragons to go burn down Casterly Rock? I understand from like a money and a show perspective is like, we don't want to get tired of the dragons. But like, the dragons aren't like just a nuclear bomb. Like, they are focused. You can like take out the soldiers. You know what I mean? They seem to be intelligent enough to figure things like that out.
But it was a cool montage, the Unsullied just wrecking shit, and then...
It was cool. Also, apparently there's way less of them than we thought. Because I thought there was like 100,000 Unsullied or something.
Yeah, I thought there was a lot of them.
And then they were apparently outnumbered by Casterly Rock, and that's why they won, which is like, in theory, the Lannisters should be like overwhelmed with the army that Daenerys has put together.
That's what we've been talking. But yeah, it was clearly them being more strategic.
Apparently Cersei has a legitimate brain for strategy, which is cool, and I like that. Also, apparently Euron can teleport anywhere we need him to be, because like he's out there destroying the Unsullied ship, which means they're all stranded at Casterly Rock. There's some weird time-lapse problems there.
Yeah, they get to Highgarden, and...
where they apparently just have vaults of gold. We knew they were rich. I guess I didn't know that you could just steal the rich from the Tyrells, but I guess you can. Presumably there is no more financial problem for the Lannisters, I think is what we're supposed to think.
Yeah.
So, how did you feel about Olenna's death?
I like that she got the final word in.
Tell Cersei.
Olenna tells Jaime that I was the one that killed Joffrey, and then Jaime's really upset about it and leaves. I thought he was going to kill her with a sword right there. I thought that was a possibility.
I liked it, and then the episode ends, and I realized, like, oh wait, like, but he also did so many like things since then to get her back.
They've all like murdered everybody's children. Like, how mad can you really get about she killed Joffrey? I would have believed it more if Jaime was like sitting there with her and he was like, all right, so wait, how did it happen? So like, you told Littlefinger and like, and I hated him and I was off with Brienne for most of that, right? That's right. And like, what were you doing? Yeah, you were trying. That's right. Yeah. You're done.
kill him, yeah.
But then she died in a green nuke. That's right. That's right. Anyways, man, you're the worst.
Prediction time.
That's right. Let's finish up with our predictions. So, is there a chance that Cersei and Daenerys and Jon Snow all have to work together?
I don't think they would let that happen.
It doesn't seem like
Daenerys is reluctant to work with Jon Snow. She will not work with Cersei Lannister.
Nobody wants to work with Cersei Lannister.
Yeah.
I don't think narratively they can work together.
Yeah,
but it would be a turn I didn't expect.
Yeah.
You know, I would like that. Between Daenerys and Jon Snow, if it can only be one of them, who gets the Iron Throne?
I mean, I think narratively and more interestingly, Daenerys gets it.
I disagree. I think it's way more interesting if Jon Snow gets it.
I think it's more interesting if we have a ambiguous and unpredictable Daenerys.
I don't think Jon Snow is a compelling leader the way that Daenerys is.
Right.
But I think Daenerys' story is way less interesting than Jon Snow's at this point.
I feel like having that ambiguous ending of, is this leader going to be good? Is there going to be peace in Westeros after all? Or is there more brewing?
So maybe we get the Daenerys that we expect, or we got who we expected, but like, she's not who we thought she was.
Exactly.
When does Arya finally show up at Winterfell? Ever? Never?
Oh, I gotta hope soon. Because, Bran was a big disappointment in Winterfell.
I have a sneaky prediction. I think Arya runs into the Hound before she runs into Winterfell and never gets back to Winterfell until the very end. Because I think of Arya as no longer being a lord. Arya is now something else.
She's a lone warrior.
Where does Mira's story end?
Oh God, I hope the best for her. I hope all good things. She returns and she gets to live a life of like never picking anything up again.
Hey, thanks so much for watching Winter's Taking Forever, friends. Feel free to hit that C in the middle to subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell down below, and we'll let you know the next time we have a cool video for you.
That's all I got. What he said.
She helped.